What's up, Baku gamers? Good morning. I know I just woke up and I hope you're more well adjusted to the day than I am. Obviously you can watch this whenever you want, so that's probably going to be the case. But without further ado, the ruling questions. Every single little ruling question that we've had over the past year or so have been answered in this giant Google Doc. You can find it on the Brawler Cafe Discord in the cafe newspaper section. I also tweeted it out along with some of my concerns, grievances, if you will. I did skim ahead. This isn't going to be my initial reaction past a certain point, and I'll let you know when it's going to be new to me. Halfway in, I was like, should probably get a live reaction to this, huh? But let's get into this. Let's just get into the meat and gritty of it. This is kind of like how it feels like when we get a new ban list in Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's just like, oh, we gotta check it out. Okay, what's in it? What changes the game radically now? You know, and some of these rulings, from what I've seen so far, very radically change the game, especially numero uno here. How does Dragonoid Maximus and its listed heroes work compared to Bakugan, who asks for specific heroes, aka Titan Drago, Trox, Maximus, right? The victory condition of Dragonoid Maximus looks for 3 different hero cards. One that is Dan, any will do. One that is Leah, again, any Leah. That means the 4-cost AoE Leah that just can get your heroes out as fast as possible, and one that is Winton. In the case of Dan and Leah, it can meet the condition for one of them, so that's good. At least you can't just go both in one go. That is fantastic, thank God, at least. But so the Winton, that means any Winton, so that means the 1 cost. So essentially, and Dan's gonna just be flipping over everything anyway, for free. So the Dragonoid Maximus is not that big of an issue because you'll just flip it over for free. Leah lets you look at the top 3, so you can play it however you want, so that you can basically assure that Maximus free play. And then Winton, if you draw it, well, it's a 1 cost. Yeah, that's not digging into your wallet too much of energy. You know, it's not diving too deep in your energy pool, right? So that's terrifying. The fact that Dragonoid Maximus now has that allotted to it, we were saved when it said the full names only, but now it says any name. Sure, just go for it. Some of these rulings are essentially like, okay, that's what we thought, but we just asked for clarification anyway, because you can never be too sure. And this is one that was kind of like that, where, as you know, Tuskguard, Haos Suplex, how they work with Ventus Hyperlipithion, which is like, if you play a 5-cost or higher, you can get +5 damage or whatever. Tuskguard works because you played for free, but even though you played it for free, it's still a 5-cost printed on the card. That was ruled to have worked with Ventus Lipithion's effect. But Everett Ray, Philomena Dusk, and Ventus Destruction are worded slightly different, so there were some concerns that were brought up to whether or not they would work the same way. It is now confirmed that anything that reduces its own cost still counts for what is printed on it. So that also means that those cards also bypass Blinding Ink, even though Everett Ray and Philomena, they're heroes, and that doesn't matter either. And then also Baku gear. When you land on your gear reduction, doesn't matter too much. So the printed cost is what it's going to apply for other card effects, essentially. And then gear ruling cores, gear reducing cores, there was some clarifications on that. As long as the Bakugan is holding the reducing core, you can play as many cores or gears as you want on that Bakugan for that discounted price, but you can only play it on that one. Think of it as one of the devs replied here as landing on a 650 magic shield. Only the Bakugan holding that 650 magic shield will get that 650 bonus, so the same is applied to the reduction effect of the core, right? And if you roll out another Bakugan while your gear reducing core is on one of the ones that are not active in play, you can still play it on the passive Bakugan that's open that has the gear reduction core, even though you're using a different active Bakugan, if that makes sense. It's all here to read in case I am flubbing it up. And then this is 4 is just hey, if I activate another Baku gear on top of another, do I get to choose which one I discard, but do I still get the effect of when you play this from the Baku gear I activated and I choose to discard it, even if it's the one I just activated? They said yes, you get to choose, but the trigger effect still keeps. So, and then Silent Spears was a card that like was printed, but then it wasn't printed with its true effect, and so that was just a clarification on that. It's non-resolved right now. And then this is just kind of a, if you need an epic character card, do you need to play the epic character card? Yes. That was just one for saving face. How does Ninja Gear interact with a Bakugan during Victor's step? This was in the case of Trox, just so like he can get that additional damage, just that last final poke, and then also be able to attack next turn. So this is just a Trox question essentially. So he said you just have 0 damage. You still win, but you just have 0 damage, and you do nothing. So just wait till end phase, I guess. So that's not that big of a deal. As far as like rulings go, that's not that big of a deal whatsoever. It was just like he just denied the cheese. He denied the cheese right there, right? And then 7A was only a follow-up question if 7 was yeah, you get to keep the attack, right? All right, this is one that a lot of people were wondering. This is new past this point for me. How does Haos Titan Pandocks work? Its effect states, treat all Baku cores attached to your other Bakugan as though they are attached to this. Does this mean my Bakugan do not get their core bonuses and they're technically attached to the pet? Yes, your other Bakugan get the bonuses. So it's just treated as, it's not the truth, right? It's not they are mine. It is treat them. Just I'll share it too. So that's pretty cool. Titan Pandocks is not horrible. Well, it's horrible, but it's not as bad as we thought. A specific situation for Titan Pandocks and gear reduction cores. If I have a -2 gear reduction core on one Bakugan and 2 on the other, can I play a 6-cost Baku gear on Titan Pandocks for free while it is closed and was not selected for rolling this turn? Yes. Titan Pandocks is treated as though it holds all the cores even while closed. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. That's kind of cool. Okay. I have nothing to say on that other than just, okay, cool. Huh. That's an interesting one. That kind of like, I feel like the Titan Pandocks archetype just got a buff a little bit, but still, it's Titan Pandocks, so I'm not too worried about it. Shit. If I play an Evo with a core bonus on it after I roll a Bakugan, do I get that bonus, or can I only get the bonuses when the Bakugan opens on that core? Okay, so this is in the case of, like, say, Hyper Pegatrix that says you get, like, what, 1,000 when you're on a magic shield. So, yeah, at that point, don't worry about it. Just activate your Evos whenever you can. You don't have to have it activated before you land on the core for you to get that effect. So, that's good. That's good. That's like taking ease off our mind, really, because that was a concern for a little bit because we were getting some conflicting rulings on that. What happens if I play Ninja Gear during combat step, during targeting my currently active Bakugan? If you're asking about playing this while damage is being dealt, the damage rating has already been locked in and will continue as normal. So if you activate it during Victor's step, it turns into 0, but if you're doing it during damage, it stays the same? I feel like that's being conflicted, and I think a combat step, from what I understand, is like literally them fighting. When action cards are being played, when gears are being played, when both Bakugan are open, and they're fighting. That's what I think the combat step is. I don't think it's damage step. But that, I think that's conflicting the previous statement. Technically, they're two different phases, but that's weird that would count in. Well, I guess it makes sense, because Victor is like, you're not dealing the damage yet, so that's just strange to me, though. Do I get to play a reroll card after Ninja Gear resolves to return my Bakugan to battle, or does the battle end as the state-based action on my Bakugan leaves? Reroll effects can only be played prior to the victor being declared. That doesn't answer the question, though. I don't think he understood that question, to be quite fair. Because the previous Ninja Gear, we kind of primed him. We kind of psychologically primed him to expect damage interactions. Because the previous effect before, or the previous question before 10 was like, hey, do I still do the damage? And they're like, no, you don't do damage. And then that made them go, combat step, do you mean damage? And then 10A was like, you know what I mean? Like, so we just need to re-ask that. That's not what we were asking, and that's fine. Like, there's gonna be confusion over written text. When a hero or evil card says its effect happens when you play this, does the effect get added to the batch right when you actually play it, or does it get added upon resolution of the card with the effect? This is a very important question. This is basically Mac. Mac is the only reason heroes are ever discussed. The effect goes onto batch when it is played. Okay. Yeah. Wait. It goes onto the batch when it's played, so it's playing and it's waiting for a resolution. Okay, that's just how cards work. When is a card technically played? If a card is negated, does it count as being played? If a Baku Gear or Baku Hero gets negated, would the when you play this effect also be negated? If a negate targets effects, it can negate effects on the batch. If it targets cards, it can only stop a card from resolving off the batch, not any triggered effects that playing the card caused. That's tricky. Because Mac says the turn you play this. So hopefully at the end of the day, this does not make Sinkhole dead. It is scarily close to that. But I feel like that is a slippery slope. I feel like it should also negate when you play this abilities, because that's how it works in any other card game, to my knowledge. And I feel like that could easily conjure some just non-reactable effects. Like, you cannot react to certain things, and that might be very bad for the game going forward. But if this means Mac cannot be negated by Sinkhole, Sinkhole is absolutely useless, and the Aquos bundle is officially trash. We just went over how Sinkhole is one of the two only good cards in that bundle, and if this is correct, there's only Blinding Ink. There's only Blinding Ink. And that's kind of nuts. Alright, let's move on. Can I play a flip hero from hand or deck if a card allows me to play hero type in this manner? If Age of Aurelus Leah finds a well-practiced in the top 3 cards in my deck, which is, I think, is the Ventus flip hero, can Leah's effect allow me to play the well-practiced? Yes, a flip hero has the hero type card, so you can play it as a hero. Oh, that's cool. Alright. I guess heroes got a little bit of a buff, you know, because Leah will enable all of that. That's kind of really cool. Flip heroes are not as garbage as we thought. In conjunction with the previous question, can flip heroes be negated by flip hero hero negates? Yes. Thank God. I mean, not that any of them are a problem, but I'm just glad there's consistency. Several Evo cards from Age of Aurelus are unusable, and it's entirely unacceptable for a TCG card set to include cards that cannot be legally played. How will this problem be resolved? So that is in regards to Scorpios, essentially, because we got the Paravian. Yeah, it's basically just Scorpios at this point. So another Scorpios question. So let's see. This is certainly unfortunate. Part of the challenge of making a TCG that relies on toy lines to be released is that there is some amount of uncertainty that can exist. If a toy is planned to release and then pulled, there's nothing that can be done if the card was created months prior. Of course, there is never any plan to have this happen, but it is, in this case, the reality. Do you have a suggestion for how to resolve this? I would honestly, if Justin, Gary, Mikey, Brock, if you're listening to this, my suggestion would probably be just taking the Evos that were neglected. They don't have their toys. Just reprint them as different Bakugan that are fairly obvious are gonna come out as like actual toys, like that won't get snuffed again, right? Because yeah, I think it's mainly the effects. Like it's mainly just Ventus Scorpios. Like just the effect on him was so unique that a lot of people are very remiss. Like I don't think anyone was crying over Ventus Paravian. Gonna be honest with you. The Evo was lackluster, and I think it was literally just because they want Green Bird. That's the only reason. But Ventus Scorpios was actually a hit. Like that was like, oof, that sucks. Because a lot of people I know, and me personally, were very excited to use that effect and just kind of explore how good it could possibly be. So that's what I would do. Just reprint the effects on Evos of Bakugan that you know are going to be coming out, no issue, with the same cores and everything. Maybe, I don't know. Just reprint them or power creep them. Fuck it. have it go energize the top 2 cards of your deck instead, or energize the top card of your deck charged. That'd be pretty cool. So it pays for its own rerolls. Glimmering Glaive and Enlightened Focus state to attach a Baku core from the field to one of your Bakugan. Are you allowed to attach a Baku core to one of your closed Bakugan, or is it a misprint that you can only attach a Baku core to an open Bakugan? Okay, they must be open. All right, consistency. Nice. Because it doesn't specify on Glimmering Glaive, and a lot of core taking cards that have been printed since Consort have not said that. I could be wrong, but now we have clarification. You can only attach cores on open Bakugan. HTN appears that have made into a static effect by the latest ruling, so does bonus apply, assuming conditions are met when the Evo is played, same as ATHU, or does HTN have its very own set of rules whereby the effect is static, but the Evo must be played prior to rolling on a magic shield? For this ability to occur, the Evo must be in play as the core is picked up. So it does have its own set of rules. Because, and it was stated before with when I was talking about Hyper Pegatrix, you can play the Evo to get the bonus after you've already opened. And that would be the static effect version of it. And that's why ATHU was also mentioned, because that is the same thing for him. And it was recently ruled that HTN is a static effect, which would be the same as playing it as you've already opened, but it seems that HTN is getting his own ruling where it is the first static / trigger, where it is still a static effect. You cannot respond to it, but you would have to have already had your Evo up before you can resolve that effect. So it literally just, HTN is its own monster. It has its own rules. Does HTN have to land on a magic shield to get the attached core effect, or can a card like Aquos, Glimmering Glaive, or others that could cause effect go off without landing on it? 2 situations in particular come to mind. Player A rolls HTN on a non-magic shield core, then player N plays Glimmering Glaive to target a magic shield and attaches the magic shield core onto HTN. Does the HTN effect now go off to a total of 3 cores on HTN, or if HTN rolls onto, you get it, right? You can read it. The way this Evo needs to be worded is, as this opens, if a magic shield attached to it, attach another. Okay, so it's a static effect that does not enter the batch. You'll be adding this to the errata section of the compiled rules. Okay. So, Glimmering Glaive can't cheese it out. It's consistent. It's consistent. Good. I have no qualms against consistency. Alright, this looks like the end of it. So, if 2 HDNs open simultaneously, what happens? How do you decide who picks up their core first? This would be in response to the static effect, right? It still follows priority. So even though it's not a batch effect, it still follows priority. So this would be the first thing. Say if you have, as far as I know, I might be reaching, you have heroes that open on that do effects on open as well. I feel like the HDN effects would just go off without worrying about the batch, and then the batch would start compiling, right? But it still follows priority. Whoever has priority that turn gets to take their core first. When I play an Evo card on top of another Evo card, where does the previous Evo card go? Does it stay under the new card or go to my discard nut pile? It stays underneath. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that it has a code of protection, which is the thing that scares me, and I think this is the reason this question was asked. I think this needs a follow-up question, where it is, if I destroy an Evo on top of another Evo, does it just shed its skin and go down to that other Evo, or do all Evos on top of it get discarded, right? Because if I can just Aurelus Trox it up and make it so he cannot be killed, that's kind of nuts, you know? Or like just double up on Titan Dragos like in the Untapped tournament, or Maximus Dragos. Like, I feel like that is kind of nuts, and that makes Wayne a significantly less powerful card. If you are able to stock or stack your Evo cards on top of each other, I feel like that is a very dangerous way to rule that question if not specified correctly, and I feel like it is not specified correctly. That just might be like, it stays underneath, like just slap it on top, it's not that big of a deal, like kind of thing, you know what I mean? But if it actually has game changing effects for that aesthetic change, that's kind of nuts. That's actually kind of concerning. But that being said, what do you guys think of the rulings? Do you agree with some of them? Did some make you cringe? Did some make you whip nay? Let me know in the comments. We'll discuss it, get a real discussion going. If this is, let me be the first to say this. This is amazing. These, clearly these should have been, brought up as we were asking them. But it's still, the fact that they went and did this, answered all of our questions, and it seems like they are on standby. This is an amazing change for the game. I feel like they have been shaken awake. And they're like, okay, yeah, we're ready to be with this game. We're ready to hold its hand. We want this game to succeed, and we're ready to do anything that we can. Especially with the, how would you change the Evos? Like, what would you do? Give us suggestions. We're open to hear it. Where is it? Yeah, what would you do to resolve this? We're ready to hear it, and I think that is fantastic. I think that I'm hopeful. All right, and I really want this game to succeed. Obviously, I've put a lot of money and time into this game, and it's one of the funnest games I've played in a long time. So, and it has a lot of potential, and they're finally done neglecting it. It seems they're finally ready to get up on that horse and ride into the sunset like Lone Rider, whatever. Michael Kitt. I know that's not it. Don't flame me, but. That being said, I can't wait to have a discussion with you in the comment section. This is the shining new era of Bakutopia. And if Mac cannot be negated, Church of Fury prevails. It always does, always will. Sinkhole is garbage. Mac will reign supreme. Fury is top tier. Alright, see ya.